The defense will continue focusing on the alcohol found inside Kelly Khumalo's home on the night Senzo Meyiwa was killed. The lawyer for accused number 5 read out witness statements yesterday that suggest the cans of alcohol were tidied up by a neighbor who came in with 2 others after the shooting to clean up. Newzroom Afrika's Mnisi joins us now live from outside the High Court in Pretoria for a taste of what's to come today, Linda, and one can just see the sort of trajectory of the line of questioning here. Sergeant Thabo Masia on the stand for yet another day, and certainly more holes being poked into his own work that he did on the day as the first forensic investigator on the scene.
Absolutely, Michelle, and the focus has really been around, the work that he did and the pictures that he took, and specifically around those cans, the pictures that we saw yesterday being presented in court. And he was asked around when exactly those pictures were taken, and he says that the pictures were in fact taken the second time around. You'll remember the whole theory around the second batch of pictures and the second batch of evidence, which is titled Exhibit B. These are pictures and evidence that were collected the second time around when he visited the scene. You'll remember he said he needed the backup of the crime scene management task team who would be able to assist him with the complex nature of that particular crime scene. And the big question that came out of the fact that there were 2 groups of people. First, the neighbors coming in, finding these cans of alcohol, tidying them up, and then police arriving, entering inside the scene. And in fact, the big question that came from that is, in fact, what, the amount of time that it took to get to that particular scene, and whether or not the pictures that he took could have been evidence that was planted in the scene, because why did he not pick it up the first time around when he went to the scene? You'll remember he just said that he took about 8 pictures the first time around, and that's because of how complex the crime scene was.
So Linda, what about this issue? The fact that 2 sets of police arrived on the crime scene, but that the first set of officers actually did not take those crucial steps that are required to preserve a crime scene, cordoning off the area and not allowing people in.
Yeah, in fact, you would have heard from those witness statements that even before the scene was cordoned off, there had already been neighbors that had entered into the scene. Sergeant Thabo Masia himself says that when he arrived to Brigadier Ndlovu, who showed him around. He had already cordoned off the scene. Sergeant Masia also speaks about how he managed to move the people who were inside the house into one particular room, which begs the question of whether or not that room was a crime scene itself. And he says that it was because he wanted to contain the evidence and to contain the crime scene. But if you look at the evidence that we heard yesterday, of course, certain 2 groups had already entered by the time he wanted to, control the scene. He did not even interview the people who were inside the house, who would have probably been able to give him evidence around what could have happened where the deceased was in terms of the body. What did he find, in that particular spot where the deceased was said to have been shot? But now we're hearing that he did not find blood stains on the ground, when in fact we know that Senzo Meyiwa was shot in that house.
Plenty of very important points that he will no doubt continue to be grilled on today. Linda Mnisi, thanks very much indeed for that update. Live to us there from the High Court in Pretoria. The Senzo Meyiwa murder trial continues.